ask a question. All right. I just want to know when we're going to start meeting in person again. I know it's not on the agenda, but it's still relevant.
We can talk about that later, Tanner.
All right.
Okay. This is a special meeting of the Bike Walk Commission on June 14th. And because it is a special meeting, according to Freedom of Information, we cannot discuss anything that's not on the published agenda. So having said that, our first item is public input. I just saw somebody from the public pop up. Patricia Hauser, would you like to speak, or are you just here to observe? And I guess Norwalk Zooms 3, you'll have to allow Patricia to talk.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. I'm actually eavesdropping here from Milford, the city of Milford, because we're very interested in your doings there, and we're trying to get bicycle infrastructure a more prominent part of our agenda.
Oh, well, best of luck. And if there's anything we can do to help you out, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, you're quite welcome.
I like the city bike in your profile picture there.
Yeah, we're trying to let people know as in any way possible, so people will see this even when it's not a bicycle meeting for me. Just enliven their imaginations to what a protected bike lanes are, because we've decided that's the only way to go.
It's definitely the ideal.
Yeah.
Well, if you can figure out how to make that happen in Milford, do let us know.
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
All right, well, welcome, and we're glad to have you on board. And, you know, as I say, if there's anything we can do to be helpful, please don't hesitate to call. We do have a website, and on our website, there is an email address that you can email at us at.
Yeah, I think I have a note into you all, an inquiry, so you can look for that.
Okay, because I have it linked to my personal Gmail account, and I didn't get a notification, but I will check that after this meeting.
Okay, great, thank you.
No problem. Okay, and we now have Colin and Judd, so we have 6 of the 7 commissioners on board. Okay, our next item, oh, Patricia, do you have a copy of the agenda?
Nancy, can you hear me, Nancy?
Oh, okay. Anyway, the next item on our agenda is the approval of our May 3rd minutes, which were attached.
Nancy, I think right before you continued there, Colin was trying to add something there. His mic is really quiet though.
Yeah, can you guys
Let
hear
me
me?
turn up my volume here. I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Sam.
I can hear you, Colin.
I can hear you, Colin.
Okay, great, thanks. I've had some problems with my headset in the past, so just wanted to make sure before I.
Oh, okay. So we have all our technical issues resolved here, for the moment anyway. Okay, could I have a motion to accept the May 3rd meeting minutes? Sam, second. Christine, are there any additions or corrections? Okay, if not, all those in favor, wave your hand or say aye or something.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next is the chair's report, which is fairly brief this month. Somebody pointed out last month that on the city's calendar, it shows that we meet from 6 to 7, and I did follow up on that, and apparently the city uses an hour as the default time for all of its meetings, but they did change ours, so it should now reflect 6 to 7:30. And the only other item is that we do have some money left in our account, which will revert back to the city on June 30th. So my recommendation is for us to buy another one of the Fix-It stations, like the one that we have in Calf Pasture. And Sam did a very nice presentation for us a few months ago when we were trying to decide where to put our first Fix-It station. And the runner-up was South Norwalk. So my recommendation would be that it should go in South Norwalk. And I'm going to ask if Sam and Greg could work together to find a suitable location in South Norwalk.
I think that's about it, yeah.
Does anybody have any discussion, either yay or nay on the recommendation? You're
Well,
all stunned into silence.
I-
Tanner,
I remember when we first went through this conversation, we talked about how nice it would be to have a stand at one of the ends of the Streffolino Bridge. But because that's like right in the walk bridge work zone, we thought that might be a little too dicey. So since we probably can't do that, Sam and I were just talking a second ago about how Ryan Park, the park where we've been doing the co-op pop-ups, would actually probably be pretty good. We've noticed just anecdotally that there's a lot of community participation in that park, a lot of people just hanging out there. And with the work that we've been doing, we've started to hopefully associate that in the eyes of the community with
Yeah,
bike
there
work.
should be some muscle memory right at that corner, starting to grip the community.
I guess my question on Ryan Park is, I know one of our objectives was, because the one at Calf Pasture is really more for recreational cyclists, because not too many commuting cyclists are going to ride through the beach on their way to work, that we really wanted to make the second one in an area that would be very convenient for commuting cyclists. And I'm not sure
Yeah.
whether Ryan Park fulfills that or not.
Go ahead.
That's a fair point, Nancy. We do see a lot of through traffic in there, unrelated to what we're doing with the bicycle co-op pop-up.
Mhm.
But needless to say, we should evaluate a couple spots. And I think what we're really just saying is we're probably going to add Ryan Park to the queue of great locations for
Sure.
this amenity.
Yeah, and you know, hopefully, I know when we dedicated or cut the ribbon on the one at the beach, that Jim had said that TMP would definitely like to order some more of these as well. And hopefully there's some money in their budget after July 1st to order some more. So it would behoove us to be ready with some suggestions about where to place them.
Yep.
But Sam, are you and Greg okay on getting together and
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
and then because we can go ahead and order it now, so it comes out of this year's budget. We don't necessarily have to place it by June 30th. We just have to get it ordered. So if you two could put your heads together and see what works, and then maybe bring it back to the commission in July or August with your recommendation, and then we can obviously install it after that.
Yeah, not to keep this conversation going too much longer in a busy schedule tonight, but Nancy, would it be worth talking offline about the potential for additional stands being donated and instead spending our budget on a bicycle paddock, as the mayor seemed to imply we could institute somewhere?
Sure, but the issue is we have a deadline to spend what we've got.
Right.
So I don't think we're going to come up with somebody that's going to donate something between now and the end of June. Being in
Okay. Okay.
So I'd like to kind of go ahead and do this, but I think for the future, and actually our budget next year is now up to a whopping $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, you know, we certainly can look at doing some additional things, and probably would be worth getting together with Jim at some point and, you know, see how serious his comment about TMP also purchasing some of these, or, you know, he seems to be pretty good at finding money. So whether we can work with him to find somebody to donate some of these as well.
Well, I don't know if Tanner told you this, but the GM of Cannondale North America has agreed to buy 5 of these for us.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's why I bring up maybe purchasing a bicycle paddock, like a enclosed parking thing, because the mayor seemed, I think, Colin, I remember you being vocal about this, but the mayor seemed to imply that he would be willing to give up a parking spot for bicycle parking. And I think that is the best thing we can introduce into Sono, because that really catches people's eye.
Well, as I said, I don't think we would have any difficulty paying for that out of next year's budget, which is July 1st.
Okay.
Alrighty, so we can, Greg, can you go ahead and order another one of the fix-it stands with the pump included?
Yeah, I'll speak with Jim and I'll speak with Mike as well and get everything ordered because obviously the money's running out in a couple weeks. So
Right.
yeah, so we'll get on that, get it ordered, and then we can Sam, we can work on, if you want to give us some areas that you guys are thinking about putting it, and maybe we can look at trying to see if we can align it along some of the existing bike facilities,
Yeah.
especially if the connectivity grant kind of comes together. And is kind of, looking to be installed later this year. So,
Yeah.
kind of plan forward with, with the proper spot, especially we can might be able to fit both as far as recreational use and also for commuter use as well.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect. Yeah, I'll write you ASAP.
perfect. Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Super. Alrighty, so that takes care of my report. And now we go on to committee reports. Greg, you're up first for the transportation, mobility, and parking.
So,
Unlike transportation, mobility, and transportation, like the agenda says.
sorry, we all know what it means. As I just alluded to, the Kinetic Connectivity Grant, we're getting close to finalizing those plans. We're really pushing to get this up to the DOT because they're really, they're kind of excited about it as well. So we're pushing to get the design finalized and get all the documents and all the pricing up to them. So they can allocate the money and get everything finalized. So we're still looking to at least have it installed by the end of this year. That's our main goal. So we'll keep you posted as we push to the finish line to get it completed and up to DOT. Last month, we had discussed at the meeting an idea of collecting sidewalk inventory and other pedestrian facility conditions around the city. Obviously, we asked if we can, obviously use the bike walk committee to help us out in that. So Nancy, Tanner, and Audrey and myself met a few weeks ago. And we kind of, started putting some ideas together and kind of how we can put together a comprehensive inventory of sidewalks and work alongside the commission, have volunteers go out and collect the data and conditions around the city. Tanner had sent me an example of how it would look on his Google My Maps. Tanner, we did put it into GIS and it did work.
Awesome.
We're just working more with the attributes at the moment. We're trying to, like I said, we're pushing to get the connectivity grant among other projects done and out the door first, and then we're gonna, really look at this. We've actually started looking at other cities because they actually did something similar where they had volunteers go out and collect sidewalk data themselves. So I'm going to be reaching out to a couple of the cities and see how they did in their collection, and some of theirs is pretty intensive. So I don't think we need to get as intensive as they have, but we'll see how they do it and see if we can emulate it best way as possible. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That sounds great. Off the top of your head, do you remember what cities those are? I'm just curious.
Seattle was one of them, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota was another one. That was they were pretty comprehensive inventory of their sidewalks throughout the city and their conditions and material, slope of the sidewalk, and everything was everything was enabled for the public online. So that's all obviously that's all I could see, but I'm going to reach out to them if they have anything that they can share with us in the meantime as we kind of put this together. But
That'd be great.
we are
Is
advanced.
it too early to set up a follow-up meeting between you and me and whoever else will be involved in moving this forward?
I will get back to you on that. Like I said, we're kind of pushing to get some of these projects, the design phase out on some of these projects. So we want to get that done first because these are projects that we've been working on for a while now. So I would say I'll reach out to you by, next week and see if we could set something up.
Okay,
So we can kind of go from there, but just in the meantime, we just want to get some of these projects finalized, and I'll reach out to you, and we can meet. I don't know if Jim and Garrett are able to meet as well, but if anything, we can meet as well and kind of go through some things, because there's a couple of data things that I want to bring up just so we set it up properly forward.
okay, cool. Thanks for the update.
We lose Greg? I think we lost Greg and he morphed into Gary. Well, hopefully Greg will be back and we won't lose Gary. But in the meanwhile, oh, here comes Greg back again. Greg, are you there?
Yeah. Sorry, Nancy, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, sorry about, I don't know why my phone just dropped. Sorry about that.
Well, yeah, you dropped and Gary popped up, so we were wondering if you morphed into Gary.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
No, you're still you.
All of a sudden my Zoom just ended. I don't know what.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, I will get in contact with you, and we'll set something up.
Thanks for working on that. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, just a little bit of background, and this was going to come up in Audrey's report as well. What Greg and Tanner and a few other people are trying to do is figure out a way that we can gather this data and also somewhat painlessly get it into the city's GIS system, so it will be in a useful format. Right?
Yes.
That's the idea.
We want to see if we can use as much of the commission and volunteers to gather some of this data, but we want it to be accurate data as well. So that's our biggest thing. So we want to set it up properly. We just don't want to go out and start capturing inventory without capturing it properly.
Yep.
So,
We did that a couple of years ago, so we don't want to do that again.
yes, yeah. And then the Highland at Flaxhill intersection, we're awaiting DOT approval for the proposed design. It was supposed to be held back in May, but we're still waiting for DOT to accept the design, because it is a funded project through the state. So once we get an approval from them, I know we've been trying to set this up for a while, but now they have the design plans, and once they have approved the plans, then we'll look for a public meeting. So we're hoping within the next month or so, we'll have a public meeting on that. So we'll just be on the lookout for that, and I'm sure we'll be communicating that to the commission as well, because as much as support we can get as possible, that would be great. So we can actually put it into play for the design, because it has been tried many times to actually be built. So we're hoping this time around it will happen. And then one other thing, the artistic crosswalk, Connecticut Ave and West Avenue, it was actually supposed to be installed today, but because of the weather, got pushed. So now it's going to be set for Wednesday. And then the mayor is holding a ribbon cutting on June 29th. It's a Tuesday at noon. And obviously, if any members of the commission would like to attend the ribbon cutting, which that would be tremendous. So just wanted to put that on everybody's radar, coming up for the city.
Yeah, I would definitely like to go. I saw that on the Triangle Community Center calendar. Is there an opportunity to, I don't know. What else is happening, Greg? Like, he's cutting the ribbon and then some people are going to speak and stuff?
I would think, yeah. I don't know the specific details of it. I just know that he's going to be doing the ribbon cutting on the, on the 29th. So I'm sure he will say words. I'm sure he'll have others speak as well. So, but I'm not sure how it's, the details of it.
Yeah, I mean, because you mentioned, it'd be nice if some commissioners went. I don't know how they would know we're there, I don't know. But I'm definitely I'm gonna be there.
We should get sashes.
Sashes. I had one in the Memorial Day parade. Like, we could
Yeah.
do it again for,
Big purple ones like the women senators.
Greg, you said the 19th,
The 29th. It's a Tuesday.
29th, okay.
I'll try to remember to send out a reminder.
Yeah, no, and like I said, if anybody wants to attend, please, please do. And
Thank
then
you.
that's pretty much it for my report. I know there's a lot to discuss tonight, so.
All right, well, thank you, Greg. Anybody have any questions for Greg? All righty.
I've got one.
Oh, sorry.
So this is more of a question about process, but in going forward, and maybe Greg, you've done this in the past and I just haven't noticed, but I love hearing updates about all of the projects that are going on that you're working on. For example, this decorative crosswalk, it was like not even on my radar. I would love to, if it's possible, and if it's not too much overhead, if we could get diagrams of this kind of stuff, or just like descriptions in the notes ahead of the meeting, so that or like the attachments that Nancy attaches to the agenda. That kind of stuff is awesome. So we can all pull it up and take a look at like what's actually gonna be happening. Would that be feasible?
It depends on the project. I mean, are you talking about like every like specific project to have diagrams and charts and whatnot?
I mean, it doesn't need to be exhaustive, but just whatever you think would help us to just understand the projects that you're describing better, maybe just to visualize them.
I would second that because I'm curious about what's going on in Highland, and it seems like there's a plan that's submitted to the state. Don't have any idea what you're talking about, other than I know where the others are.
Yeah, Tanner, since you're going to be putting together the agenda for July, you can work with Greg to make that happen.
All right, I'll talk to Greg one-on-one then.
Okay.
Perfect.
Alrighty. Next up, Judd, the bike plan report. Did you want to show your spreadsheet, or would you like me to show it, or?
Do you have it handy there? I don't, I mean, I have my paper copy.
You could hold it up. Yeah. I
This
could probably do a little better than that.
Yeah, this is in your agenda packet,
Yep.
and it's a list of all the bike parking in the city. And then on top of that is a list of 12 possible locations for the 6, thank you, Nancy, new bike racks that we have. And I would like to suggest that we place these racks in these pre-approved bike share locations that you can see in the chart. It's the first 6.
Yeah, Greg, amongst other people in the city, did a lot of work in vetting these locations when we thought we were going to start a bike share program in the city. So there are, there's nothing nasty going on underground at any of these sites. So I personally, I think that probably makes some sense, but I'm certainly willing to listen to other opinions.
Yeah, Nancy, real quick, just on these, want to make sure to just have confirm with Jim and make sure that, these are, still approved. I just don't want to say that, yeah, they're already approved for bike share, before we go ahead and, move forward with anything. So I would have to talk with Jim first and see how he wants to approach this.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. But, as a commission, we can recommend these 6, and if there's a problem with any of them, then you'll come back to us and
yeah, no,
we'll rethink.
Yeah, no, that's,
reasonable?
I mean, we can say that these are some of the places that you recommend, and you could just put in the comment section that this was a pre-approved site. And because I know for the bike share, Nancy, you were involved as well. We had areas, but we had, I don't think we had finalized like specific areas in some places, like this is where it's going in this direction, and this, we were kind of more concept design.
Greg,
I
if you,
think they were pretty specific, Greg.
Yeah.
'Cause We
Greg, if
thought
you-
we thought we were about 2 months away from actually launching.
Right.
if,
But go
there,
back, why don't you go back and look at your notes and I'll do the same.
no, Nancy, there is, if you look at the bike share PDF, there's images of all of these locations, with a bike share rack dropped into them. So
Because
it's
I know
not-
I know we had to move a few around a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, I just, like I said, we need to go back and make sure and see if anything has changed. That's why I need to talk with Jim first and then talk with anybody else specifically to make sure. Because the last thing we want to do is put one there and then say, who told you to put that there? And then have to take it out again.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I'm just saying is if you look at the bike share packet, like you'll see, on Main Street, at the Main Street parking lot, number 5 that I have on the list there. It's tucked into a corner of the parking lot. There are no bike racks for a block or two around there. I mean, I could see it being a very helpful location. And the bike share packet shows a rack in that location. So but Greg, I understand you need to talk to Jim about this. We're not going to approve it tonight. What I want to do is just ask, or maybe I need to make a motion that the commission is requesting that you get approval on these 6 locations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll have to, I'll talk with Jim and see if we get approved. And these top, is it prioritized? Are these the top 6?
Well, I think they're good locations, but Chris has a comment.
Well, yeah, I do. So you're talking about 1 through 6, because Cranberry Park is there. I don't think there's a bike rack there. And I go there all the time and I lean my bike up against something. But my comment really is, Nancy, could you scroll down a little bit? I have a comment about one at the Maritime Aquarium, because I tried to find it and it's covered with trees and stuff. So there's also maintaining these locations.
Now, are you talking about the one at the entrance, across from the entrance to the aquarium? Well, actually where the IMAX is right now?
Number 10 there. No, yes, where the IMAX is, it's covered. It's by the parking lot. It's at the parking lot.
Yeah, it's kind of overgrown.
So who's responsible? For
yeah.
that? That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yep. Greg, can you find out who in the city needs to trim that back?
Yes, I will.
I think that for me raises another question. Who in the city is responsible for maintaining the racks and the rack location and all that? Because there's no shortage of racks. You can see the list is pretty extensive. Is that a public works thing in the past? Maybe it's now TMP.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's another thing I would have to find out. No, I think also where the bike rack exists as well is also another thing. If it lists in a park, obviously that may be a park and rec thing, as opposed to a parking lot or sidewalk, for instance. That's going to fall probably under a different jurisdiction. So we would have to find that out.
Well, while you're researching who it is that needs to trim back the growth around the one at the Maritime Aquarium, perhaps you could find out. I guess you're going to have to find out who actually is responsible for maintaining them.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Greg.
Find that out. Yep.
I have been maintaining an informal list of all the public bike racks that I know, and I think I have a few private ones on there as well. It's on another Google My Map, and I think we even linked to it on the commission's website.
Of the private bike racks.
No, it's mostly, it was meant to be an exhaustive list of the public ones, but I started putting a few private ones on there as well.
Oh, I see.
Another layer.
Okay. Yeah, because this list has a few private ones I noticed. I think, maybe not. Maybe I'm okay.
I'm happy to take on that as a slightly more formal responsibility to update that. at least to the extent that anybody sends me stuff to add to it.
All right, thanks, Tanner. Yeah, because we used to participate in a survey, and one of the questions was the number of bike racks in the city. So I hopped on my bike and rode around and found those are the ones that are on our website, and as well as the ones at schools. But certainly the more that we can publicize existing bike racks, the better off we are. So does anybody have any other discussion on the bike racks?
So Judd talked about, or somebody said they wanted to make a motion to just like, to ask, was it TMP?
Yeah, to request TMP approval on the 6 locations on his spreadsheet.
Yeah, I would love to second that motion because I think that we've
Okay.
talked about it a ton, and at this point, we should just put some racks in.
All right. Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, and then Nancy, one other thing, I know Jim had last week, and especially about the aquarium, about the possibility of purchasing a shark bike rack for the aquarium.
Mhm.
Well, and kind of setting the motion for for future bike racks around the city, and kind of emulating their own kind of characteristic around the city, and special ones around the city.
Mhm.
So I know he had talked to the aquarium, and they were very excited about it as well. So I know he put out for the commission to take a look, or some members of the commission to look at it. So I know that's just something else I wanted to add as
Sure.
we kind of forward.
Yeah, but that doesn't really affect this proposal because we're not proposing to add any other at the Maritime Center at this time.
Right.
Okay, good.
Can I-
Yeah, the more the merrier. Because I mean, as we've been saying, it's certainly part of our mission to provide bicycle access and to make bicycling more convenient and safer. But then the issue is, once you get there, what do you do with your bike? So,
Right.
the more bike racks we can place around the city, the better. As well as some bike corrals.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you guys hear me better like this?
pardon?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Because I think my headset's done because I kept talking and nobody was hearing me. Just on the bike racks and what Greg was saying about the shark rack, I've thought for a while that the city should probably have a standard bike rack that's a little bit better quality than the schoolyard type style one that is kind of installed around the city. And I know other municipalities have like inverted staples with like some sort of city seal or the city name. It's a nice, easy, solution for kind of a standard unifying rack in a district. And then, places like the aquarium could have a specialty rack. I was recently on vacation, and one of the beaches I went to had it might have even had a shark or a whale or a fish or something that had one of the Darrow fix-it stations right next to it. So it was speaking to the location of where it was and providing a service facility.
Mhm.
So that would be a good discussion for a future meeting.
Tanner, got that?
Alrighty, I'll put it on the agenda.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Colin. And I think that's actually where Jim would like to head as well.
That's excellent.
Okay, anything else for the bike plan? All righty. Next up is events. As I said, Barbara was unable to attend. However, the Wednesday evening concerts at the beach are going to crank up again. There's one scheduled for July and 3 in August. And her intent is to have another event in one of those evenings in August at the bike repair stand in the park, since there'll be a lot of people there. And we'll bring our flag as we did in May. And Sam has agreed to be volunteered to be our mechanic to show people how to use the stand. So we should be able to get some good PR out of that. And I am sure that that the folks that run the concerts will be happy to announce from the stage, like it may be at 6:30 and or there at 6 or 6:30 and 7, that there are people at the bike repair station showing people how to use it. So I think we should get a lot of good PR out of that. And Barbara will have all the details for you next month. Yeah, Tanner?
Can you confirm the date on that?
The date has not yet been confirmed. She needs
Oh.
to talk to Ken Hughes,
Okay.
who is the acting director of Parks and Recreation.
Can you confirm, is it being reinstalled in a place that will be more secure to the
They're
ground?
it's been there for quite some time.
Oh, it already has.
Yes. And Mike, how are we doing on getting the pump installed? Do you know?
I know the pump has arrived. I don't think it's installed yet, but.
Yeah,
Mark
because
should have
I
it.
did send a note off to Ken, but I didn't get anything back. Could you follow up on that for us?
I will do that, yes.
Thank you. Okay, Christine, League of American Bicyclists.
Okay, thank you. Is the person from Milford still on the call?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to give a quick little overview about the League of American Bicyclists, but it's a great group that you may want to look into, your city in Milford, of joining. We are an organizational, we have organizational membership. So I have a couple little things and then I'm going to share my screen, but I have a question for Mike, who got us the organizational membership, and when the renewal is, and also if we can budget that in as an line item annually for the league, for that organizational membership. And Tanner, as the chair, that would be pushing those emails out that to the group. They come monthly, an email with updates. So Mike, I don't know if you want to, do you know when it's time to renew that?
I don't know offhand, but I believe we have that in the budget, Nancy, right? I think
Yep.
we budget every year, so.
Okay, perfect. And then Greg, and you know, this is just a reminder about applying for the bike friendly, doing an application to gain possibly a potential award as a bike friendly community, a rating. So it's like gold, silver, bronze. Yeah, so, and then Greg, we have, so Ken Podzaba, I've never met him, but he was on one of the calls back in March at the summit, the annual summit. And he lives in Westport. He heads the Bike New York. He's chair of the Bike New York. And he's the chair, he's the chair of the board of directors for the League of American Bicyclists. So I'd like to invite him to maybe the August meeting. I don't think I'm going to be here the July meeting, but if that would be good, Tanner. Okay, guest speaker, maybe to talk to us about the application, because I know, Greg, we've talked about moving in that direction at some point with more data and more things that we've accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing first, especially to get a better rating, we need to get the complete streets policy in place, which we're currently working on. And then if we can get Vision Zero, and then especially after we get these projects that we're working on, like the connectivity grant, which, you know, is adding, you know, almost doubling the amount of bike lanes around the city. So that's just all those things are gonna just give us a better rating in the end.
So when do you think we should bring Ken in just to help us with application? I don't want to be too premature.
Christine, why don't you discuss these things offline with Greg? Because these really
Okay,
aren't
sure.
things that,
I'm
you know, the
gonna,
whole.
can I share my screen? I just want to give a quick overview. Is that okay, Nancy? Of
Sure,
some of
yeah.
the advocacy? Okay. Thank you.
While you're getting that pulled up, this seems like, depending on the subject that Ken's going to talk about when he joins our meeting, that's the kind of thing that I think would be worth promoting on our social media. So I'll start thinking about that. Just like to get members of the public to show up to our meetings.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is some of the advocacy. Can you all see this? Okay, so this is the Invest Act that the league is been working on. They wrote a statement. So it's the Invest in America Act. And so it's the House Infrastructure Federal Committee. So in this bill that they're trying to become law is the increased funding. And because of the way this Zoom is set up, I can't really see the screen while I'm sharing it. So to the right is about what they're investing in and the differences. So I'm just gonna go through this. You can read this yourself right now. Scroll down if you want me to send it to you, I will. I thought this was interesting. Safe Schools route. They're expanding it to high school is in this bill. And so here's the complete streets, what they're have in the bill and the changes. And then down at the bottom here is this equity safeguards and enforcement, and about they're really pushing towards this racial profiling to a policy against racial profiling. So I think that's interesting. And we can talk about that more at another time, but I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of an overview of this bill that they're trying to get passed.
Yeah, Christine, do you want to send the link to the commissioners so that we can take a look at the site at our leisure?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
Thank you. I'm finished with my report, Nancy.
all right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for all your good work in helping us to advance what the league is trying to accomplish, which ultimately helps us all, I think.
One more comment. I just thought this is really a kind of inspirational comment. So Doug, and I never pronounce his name, Hazelden from New Haven. Doug, remember Doug? He spoke to all us commissioners. I was talking to him on the phone, and he said that Norwalk is going to surpass New Haven, and he has like he says what we're doing here is amazing work. I just wanted to pass that on.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Tanner, I'm not sure whether you were with us, but when we used to meet in person about once a quarter, we tried to, at the end of our meeting, invite somebody in to speak. And Doug came and spoke to us at one of those sessions.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that anybody here knew about him, but I follow him on Twitter and he's great.
Yeah, he's very energetic. And that might be a venue once we start meeting in person again. What we did is the commission will spring for dinner. So we have our regular commission meeting, and then at 7:30 we have the speaker come, and that way we don't have to stay within the constraints of
I remember getting a free sandwich this way once.
we don't have to stay within the constraints of our 6 to 7:30 p.m. meeting.
Cool.
And I think, we had some really productive sessions. So
Awesome.
that might be something that you want to resume once we start meeting in person again, which
Yeah.
hopefully will be in August or September.
Would we start with Ken and then maybe do Doug again? Is that what you're
Sure.
suggesting, Christine?
Yep. But anyway, Christine, you're all set? Okay. Next is the pedestrian report. And as I said, unfortunately, Audrey has another meeting on the second Monday of the month, but she sent me her report, which if you'll bear with me, I will read. She talks about the sidewalk surveys, collecting data, and as Greg talked about, we are currently planning a new effort using newer technology, and stay tuned for us to get the technology all squared away, and then we're definitely going to be looking for feet on the street to help collect the data. Audrey also talked about the pedestrian stanchions that go in the crosswalks, and one of the pedestrian committee's members, Joanna Zanvetter, who's also the transportation coordinator for the Norwalk Public Schools, is working with Mike Yosak and Joe Rios, who's the safety guy at the Norwalk Public Schools, to get them into the schools, probably Tracy and Silvermine and one or two others. Because the issue with these stanchions is because they go in the middle of the crosswalk, they have to be removed for things like snow plowing. So we felt that, the committee felt that schools would be a great site for that, because they can put them out in the morning and they can yank them back in the afternoon when the kids are gone. And she had a late date update that Mike said his office has been in touch with Norwalk Public Schools and is working out scheduling the delivery of the stanchions as we speak. So thank you, Mike. And Julia Green, who's the health department educator, and Barbara McCabe have been video documenting walking paths for the Norwalker program. And they'll be made available soon. And Audrey has also spoken about the curated walks around the Norwalk Green, and more are planned. And the concern is that the roadways around the Green, East Avenue and Park Street are dangerous and unfriendly for pedestrians and cyclists. And this group is trying to increase the awareness and support for remedies. They're seeking a cooperative relationship with the first taxing district because the first taxing district actually owns the Norwalk Green. And the other kind of wrinkle is that East Avenue is Route 53, so we also have to work with the state. Harbor Loop, the issue there is at what's the apartment building that's right there, the intersection of Wall. There's
Head of the harbor?
yeah, Head of Harbor, thank you, Head of Harbor South. There's a part of what is actually also the Norwalk River Valley Trail that's currently has a blockage in a private patio that prevents pedestrians from accessing Wall Street. And they're working on getting that removed, although I was there last week and I didn't have any problem riding my bike through there, so I'm not 100% sure what the issue is. And then the NRVT missing link along Riverside Avenue. Audrey and I met with Michael Purdy, who's the Riverside Cemetery owner, to discuss possible access through the cemetery. And he doesn't want to create formal access, but he welcomes pedestrians to walk through the cemetery because it cuts down on some of the activity like drug dealing that he does not want in his cemetery. And we did mention to him that we would like to see a crosswalk from the cemetery across Riverside Avenue to get to the trail, and he was very much in favor of that. And another one of Audrey's late breaking updates here. Mike, you are quoted as saying, "We are currently in the initial stages of developing an updated city transportation master plan. One of the tasks in the study is for the consultant to provide some concepts for various transportation improvements around the city, with Riverside Avenue as one of the locations they will be looking at. I think we should still be on target for a crosswalk installation next spring, which would be wonderful." And again, Riverside Avenue is a state route, so the state gets involved in that as well. So that's Audrey's report. If you have any questions, either I'll try to answer them, or it sounds like Mike may have answers to them. But I think since taking over the pedestrian committee, Audrey has really been doing an awesome job in moving forward on a number of different fronts.
I
So
have one
questions,
question
comments? Yeah,
regarding
Colin.
signs. Regarding the post signs at the schools, do you see that installation carrying over to like the intersections where there's also a crossing guard or crosswalks?
We hadn't really thought about that. We only have 5 of them
Oh, okay.
currently.
So that would be something that I would think would be a good initiative, is to try and get those within the walk shed area of each school.
Yeah.
So that
If you don't mind, can you drop Audrey a note and
Sure.
ask her about that?
Yep.
Thanks. That's a good suggestion. As a parent of a walking student.
Two next year.
Pardon?
2 next year.
Anybody else? Okay, next up, Tanner on social media.
Sorry, I was going to comment on that. I just wanted to second what you said about Audrey and all of her good work on the pedestrian committee. I know she's not here, so I can't thank her publicly, and or I guess I
Well,
can.
I'm sure Jolene will get it in the minutes.
Yes, for the minutes, let it be known that I also thank Audrey for all her good work.
All right, thanks. Now, would you like to give your social media report?
Sure. So a lot of the work that I've been doing on social media recently has admittedly been for the bicycle co-op. We've had 4 events. Every time we've been able to fix somewhere between probably 6 and 15 bikes.
Yep.
We've got a lot of organic foot traffic around the neighborhood, also car traffic, people driving by and being like, wait a sec, can I bring my bike by? Will you fix it?
Tanner's also good at yelling at children. They have a flat tire.
Anyway, so my point is that the audience, our Facebook audience and Instagram also, for the bike co-op has been growing quite quickly. And I've been cross-posting a little bit of stuff, and that's the plan in the longer term, is to grow the audience for the commission by posting about it periodically on the co-op and vice versa, because the mission is very similar. As far as the like otherwise in terms of social media, so actually I wanted to ask, somebody messaged the page and asked about the legality of riding on the sidewalk, and I think somebody else answered that. I imagine that was you, Nancy.
No,
Oh, anybody else have access to the Facebook page? I could check, but did somebody respond to that, or did somebody here want to fess up to responding to that?
well, in fact, I believe what they said was wrong. I don't believe that Norwalk has any regulation against bicycling on the sidewalk.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm bringing it up, because if it is in fact illegal to bike on the sidewalk, there's a lot of people breaking the law, and we maybe should talk about changing that, especially given the paucity of good bike infrastructure on most streets. So, yeah.
It does violate, it does violate Norwalk ordinance.
Does it? Okay,
it
thank you,
does.
Rick.
Mike, what does the ordinance say? Do you, any chance you have it handy there?
I don't have it handy, but it is in the ordinance that you cannot bike on sidewalks.
Does
Okay.
it exclude children by any chance? I know some of them do.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I will be curious to get the group's opinion on whether or not that's something that would be worth changing, or at least worth pushing on.
Well, I personally think it's very dangerous to bike on a sidewalk, especially if they go in the other direction. They go, sometimes it can be safer to get away from a certain situation if there's not enough space, shoulder. But I don't know, I think it's dangerous. They could fall into the street.
Well, Christine, I agree with you, but the one exception I would make, and probably to Colin's point, is that I think children should be exempt from this because it's the best place for them to learn how to ride a bike, and they don't operate at a high enough mass or speed to really injure anybody. And actually, more gruesomely, it protects them in a liable situation, where if they are injured by a car, say pulling into a parking garage on a sidewalk, if they're riding a bike currently, they cannot be there's no case for them to be made given the current ordinance.
I don't know. I don't think a kid learning how to ride a bike should be on a sidewalk riding the bike. But there's lots of places to learn to ride.
Well,
It's not always that either, right? It's a kid traveling at 2 miles per hour next to their parent on a tricycle or something.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you know
think
what,
that's-
maybe we should start by finding the ordinance and seeing what it actually
Yeah.
says.
Yeah, that sounds great.
so who's gonna do that?
I can do that. Unless it's really easy for somebody like Mike or Greg to find it.
I'll take a look, guys, and send an email to you.
That'd be great. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, Tanner, is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thanks. There is no strategic plan report this month, and Teresa is not here and did not send me anything, so there's no walking update. So on to old business. Sam's deck was distributed with the agenda. Sam, if you'd either like to display it or you would like me to, or
I can present, and what a difference a week makes. I have an update that it was not
Okay.
included in the materials mailed out. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Does it say Oyster Festival bicycle parking?
Yep.
Sure
Okay, so
does.
all right, so I'll just run through this quickly. I met with the chair people of the Seaport, what are they called? Seaport Association, not organization. Mike Riley and Jerry Tony. Mike Riley is the president, young guy, a cyclist, and Jerry Tony, I think he's probably grandfather to 85 different grandchildren in the city of Norwalk. So very community invested person. And he's the business manager there. I met with both of them. We didn't make a lot of progress over email. They're extremely busy people. So we finally elected to meet in person, which I did about 3 weeks ago. And I explained more clearly to them in person and illustratively what we wanted to do. And they presented me with this map. And what we ultimately agreed upon was that A, they would give us a space located at the entrance and exit of the oyster space. B, they would do so for absolutely free. And C, they were very interested in the idea and actually what we could kind of tell them about their clientele that engaged with this. So pretty successful meeting in my opinion. But some more details about the space. So if you look again at the map here, so the Oyster Fest obviously takes up every single piece of Vets Park. This entire area of Seaview Avenue right here is closed to all through traffic. So this is blocked out at Fort Point and this section of Seaview, which is right in front of what I think is called Pastime Marina.
And through car traffic, right?
There's no through traffic of any type.
Not pedestrian traffic?
Pedestrians may enter, but only to enter the Oyster Festival.
Oh, okay.
So
It's the bus drop off, I believe, is usually they allow the buses in.
right. So why the Seaport Org is particularly interested in what we are offering is that they need to rent parking throughout the city of Norwalk that they then pay. So they pay for parking throughout the city and then pay shuttle companies to then shuttle people to and fro. So they're very interested in this, this offering on our part. And at first they didn't think that we should really be located within the festival grounds, but then I kind of made the case to them and they agreed to do one better. So they put us right at the exit. So that means everyone entering the festival would see the concierge bicycle parking located over here. And then upon your egress, you would very easily reclaim your bike.
Yeah.
So this is excellent visibility to attendees and it's conveniently located whether you're coming or going. And then a point that actually Mike made that I thought was really good is it should promote increased ridership through the weekend. So if someone attends on a Friday night and plans on coming back, they very likely may ride their bike. They may realize in this very moment upon entering the Oyster Festival that this is a great opportunity for them to engage in a lighter mode of transportation.
So you're saying somebody who came on Friday in a car
Yep.
would come back on a bike?
Yep. So there are some action items and additional info that should be relevant to this group. Jerry, very by the book, he wants a contract to be drawn between the people on this call. The city is actually the highest paid vendor by the Oyster Fest because of all the police and infrastructure necessary to make it go on. So many city organizations look to the Oyster Festival for some support, and they quite simply and practically cannot always afford that. So the fact that they're doing this for us is extremely generous and proof that they believe that we are providing a service for them. But we should consider a contract, and I am going to look into whether event insurance is necessary. I obviously think that is extremely low risk that someone should lose a bike on our dime, but just in case, it is something for me to just investigate. They are going to provide us 15 or so entry tickets to be provided to bike parking volunteers. So I have a number of people from Cannondale GmbH and Incorporated that would be willing to help us staff this. I think a couple of you know Kevin Kane. He's interested in helping. I'll be there, of course. Signage will not be provided, but is recommended. The second we are to advertise anything privately affiliated, so even the NRVT, they would probably bill us for the booth. So it really needs to be a Norwalk Bike Commission, Bike and Walk Commission only operation. The hours are listed. And then in the last week, I spoke with the head of North American marketing at Cannondale, and just in chatting, I brought this up. And she is interested in potentially piggybacking this operation. That, of course, would bring in a private interest, which, of course, Mike and Jerry would bill us for. They would absorb that cost, provide additional resources and staffing, and
Maybe
then
insurance too.
and likely event insurance, which are way, more well versed in than I am, and also provide demo bikes because Vets Park is actually an excellent place to test ride a bicycle, completely protected. So a bunch of e-bikes, analog bikes, what have you. So
Hey,
some
Sam.
opportunity there. Yes.
Sam, on that end, could you run an idea by her in terms of I'm not sure how this works internally with your corporate liability, but would it be worth, from the demo standpoint, of having demo bikes as like a fluid thing that could go from some of the park and ride for the shuttle buses to the parking facility? So it's like you could have staff at one or two locations, like town hall and one of the schools.
That's
And be
pretty
like,
interesting.
we've got bikes here in a corral, and then you can take it down to the Oyster Festival, and then people leaving can grab a bike and go back up.
That's pretty interesting. The only thing I would just, yeah, we can talk about that later, but that's cool.
You know, that way you could like encourage ridership apart from the shuttles and people that, might be, I mean, let's talk offline about it.
Yeah. But like a very real use case. That's interesting.
Yep.
What if somebody likes the bike too much and decides to take off and leave their car in the parking lot?
That was one of my thoughts, Christine. We may need to
Yeah.
make them trade the keys for it, but
Yes, can I just say, I think this is such a cool idea. I don't understand how the bikes would stand up without like kickstands, but before that doesn't matter, but I'm sure it's all figured out.
oh
but-
yeah. So
can this
I
be-
borrowed a bunch of A-frames from Cannondale. So
Oh, okay,
they're
cool.
just structures you hang a bike by the seat before.
Wouldn't this be cool though to have like, this is like a city thing at every event, like we'd have a sign that says like Norwalk City Bike Parking, and we have it at the other big events like the Nice Festival and things like that in Norwalk. I mean, what a cool thing, because I brought my bike to the Nice Festival 2 summers ago and it was such a pain in the butt. I had to walk around with the bike the whole time.
Right. So that's something we're trying to avoid with this. One of the, I think, the appealing parts of Oyster Fest is that it's on Seaview Avenue, which I think is one of the best untapped bicycle friendly roadways, or yet to be bicycle friendly, but could be bicycle friendly.
It wasn't there a part of the East Norwalk TOD plan that involved like a huge promenade there between the car lanes on Seaview and the park?
Yes.
Yeah. There was.
Yeah, that part of it is part of the East Norwalk TOD for a promenade, yes.
Any idea what the timeline looks like that, Greg? Looks like with that?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on that, because the big proponent also is that needs to be put in place as funding. So
it's not in the near future.
no.
Okay.
No, not anytime soon. So it hasn't even been.
But Christine, that's definitely a real plausibility. This is definitely just throwing a net out and seeing what comes back. But I certainly do, and I know the guys at the Seaport Association also feel that this is something that will probably surprise us in how successful it is and grow year on year.
Didn't you say that they were going to offer to promote it too?
And they are going to promote, yes, thanks, Tanner. They're going to promote it through their channels. I just need to get them some materials and just quickly with Nancy and Tanner talk about what is the most appropriate way that we advertise ourselves as an entity of the city.
Yeah, Sam, I think Greg can also put you in touch with somebody in the legal department in the city in terms of the insurance and the contract.
Great, okay.
Greg, I just
maybe with
volunteered
our-
you.
Yes.
Maybe with our $10,000 though, we can buy some of those A-frames and make this a city thing rather than a private, Cannondale Corporation or something, just to encourage the civicness and community and getting people out biking and walking.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, in the future, Christine, I think that's an excellent use of funds. I think right now, though, what we need to do is just test the waters,
Yeah, I think it's great. Good job.
What was the name of that festival you mentioned,
The
Christine?
Nice Fest? I've never heard of that.
Well, it's huge. They get, and I met the woman again at this art opening last weekend, and it brings so many people and such diversity. It's on the hill of,
Oyster Shell.
thank you.
Yeah, if you just Google Nice Festival Norwalk, you'll find out all about it. It's the second weekend in July.
I've been there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they got like food from all over the world, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do bike parking there too. Thanks for the idea, Christine.
Christine, you're working the bike parking with me now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks for all the good work you've done so far, Sam, and this looks really exciting. Does anybody have any other comments or questions?
When is the Oyster Fest this year?
First weekend after Labor Day.
As always. Okay. Good job, Sam.
Yeah.
My only additional comment would be on the legal event insurance or whatever. And I would, I guess for me, it's just a question of who's actually providing the parking and what we're insuring. You know, it's like if we're festival volunteers, it seems like it's their space and we're just offering to, you know, do intake and outtake. So, you know,
Yeah, I
wonder
think we're
if they're
technically a
insured.
subcontractor though, even though they're giving us the booth. They're giving us a booth at the transactional price of $0.00, so that we, or
Yeah.
I think that there is some liability on us. Say someone's
Right.
bike goes missing. I don't think that's on the Oyster Fest. I think that's on us as a subcontractor.
Yeah,
So-
that's why we need to get the city's legal department involved.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to follow up on that. Nancy, I'll probably shoot you a mail after this just to see who that might be. Or Greg, you said would know that.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, but thank you. This looks really exciting.
I think so too.
Okay. On to new business. Christine, you wanted to talk about recruiting a more diverse commission?
Yeah, I do. And we've talked about it before. Everybody sitting in here probably agrees. It's nothing to really discuss. It's just how we go about doing it. And, you know, I wanted to, I think Tanner and Sam at the Ryan Park, and I'd like to come down there. But we talked about maybe that as an opportunity to talk to people who are avid riders and people of color. Talk to them about our meetings. And Nancy, you've talked about, I guess, people attending the public meetings and maybe get new members that way.
Well, and also, I mean, if we find people that are walking and or biking advocates, to get them to help with some of the work of the commission, because you don't necessarily need to be a commissioner to help out. We've certainly had a number of people over the years. And I mean, Audrey's a perfect example. She's been chairing the pedestrian committee until July 1st. She's not a commissioner. And Tanner worked with us for a number of years without being a formal commissioner either. So I think that's a really good way of involving a more diverse group of people.
Yeah, you're right. And I didn't really think it through like that. I just jumped right to commission. So yeah. And we all have business cards, right? That we can
Mhm.
hand out to people to
Yep.
encourage them.
Oh, we have
think-
commission business cards?
My wallet.
I need some of those because I can know I have really dirtied my my Cannondale inbox.
This
Okay.
would be a good segue into when are we going to meet in person? Because if we were meeting in person, we could just distribute on social media.
I can talk to you about that offline, Tanner.
Okay.
That sounds like a liability. Now we have to talk to city legal again.
Okay. Anybody else on recruiting of commissioners? Yeah, Tanner.
Sorry, should I go first?
What if we contact the NAACP? They're quite active.
I did that.
When did you do that? That's great.
I did that. Yeah, I'm a member. I did that about a month ago.
Okay, and any,
No, and I contacted Darlene Young with the city, and she was gonna get back to me. Darlene, yeah, you know, I'm pretty friendly with Darlene. So I think that's the best way, if you know somebody, to talk it up and everything. So I'll follow up with Darlene.
Yeah, but I think also, you know, as we run into people who are interested in bicycling and pedestrian issues, that's also a good way. Because we don't just want anybody who's a person of color,
No,
you know,
No,
we
no.
also need the devotion to the cause, so to speak.
of course, but I do think we need to make a commitment to it and stick to it.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with Nancy's point though, that we don't want to just tokenize someone and be a part of the problem. We want, you know, both they need to maintain both characteristics to be a functional member.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Then somebody who wouldn't want to join anyway if they didn't really have.
Right? Who would want to hang out with us?
Hopefully. Alrighty, well, thanks for keeping this on the front burner for us, Christine.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and
Can I share a thought on that?
pardon?
Can I share a thought on this topic before we move on?
Sure.
So I think I want to extend an invitation to everybody on the commission and people listening as well. Completely non-binding, but I think it would be cool if we could set a goal to like invite a certain number of people. Maybe like one invitation per commissioner per meeting. Like just every time we have a meeting, try and invite somebody that you haven't invited before to join our meetings. Ideally, people from a different walk of life than you in Norwalk. Maybe it's somebody that you just notice is riding a bike around town or that you meet somehow else. This is admittedly kind of easy for me and Sam because we are meeting a lot of new people with the co-op, people who just show up and need help with their bikes. In fact, I think we have an attendee from the public who maybe hadn't joined when we had public comment. And her name's Ashley. We met her at the bike co-op. So if there's a gap in the meeting, Nancy, where you could offer another chance for public comment, that might be nice.
Okay, let's finish the agenda and then we can, if
Sure,
we have time,
of
we
course.
can circle back. Okay.
Yeah. But just generally, I would like to invite you all to invite one person per meeting to just to join our meetings and see if we can find people who are interested enough to do this work with us.
Alrighty, another good idea. Okay, last item, Colin, is yours on additional pump and tool stations.
No, not stations, but
Okay,
I think what I'd suggested to you and what I was proposing on the agenda was I guess Sam's little joke to Tanner about how he was yelling at kids to pump up their tires. I was riding and I observed somebody who was probably not in a overly high income bracket, and the tires were very soft, and was riding on my way to work, and I was thinking that one of the most basic pieces of bicycle maintenance that someone needs to do is to just inflate their tires so that they can reliably get to where they're going without pinch flatting the tire or running over debris, and it just helps the bike be overall more durable. And then I thought, having a little tool would be good. And I thought back to my days in the bike shop when you could get a relatively inexpensive pump wholesale for $10 to $12, and it would retail for about $20, and then multi-tools were about the same, and we could probably put together some sort of a subsidized package of a pump and a tool that was available through maybe the Norwalk Housing Authority, the health department, and a couple city organizations, and for a very low cost, so that somebody could not necessarily have to go to Walmart or whatever and buy like a lesser quality pump that's at full retail, and they could get a subsidized pump and a basic tool for doing very basic maintenance and pumping up tires for kids' bikes or for their own bike at a nominal cost of $5 to $10 or something like that. That's a little bit more affordable than 20 and 20, which would get you to 40, and maybe there could also be a small selection of tubes available or something like that, which are relatively inexpensive. And I'm not talking about trying to run a full bike shop, just having the basic necessities available from a few places that people could be steered to, either through social or through organizations like what Sam and Tanner are starting to do.
I think this is a great idea, and I would like to follow up on this with you because I have had this exact same idea as you, and I guess I haven't really considered it to be plausible until you just mentioned it again now. But also the conglomerate that owns Cannondale, Dorel, also owns a company called Fabric, which is a pump manufacturer. And we also have Mongoose and Pacific, which also sell branded lights, pumps, tools, whatnot. So there has to be opportunity for us to buy these at cost through one of these organizations.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that's going to drive the cost down. And I also had the thought that if you need real maintenance, there's the opportunity to maybe get a bike shop contact info or something like that and put a sticker on the pump that gives you numbers you can call to get actual service. something, and maybe that's a way to partially subsidize it, you know, and this could potentially come out of a few departments' budgets, is not just our own.
I want to be sensitive to the distinction between the Bike Walk Commission and the co-op that Sam and I are working on, but I think that this would be a really good way for the co-op to partner with the commission. Because you know the like direct bike maintenance is something that I think that's exactly the goal of the co-op.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Tanner, is that something you and Sam and Colin maybe want to put your heads together about and come up with a little bit more specific
Colin,
proposal?
actually, as far as the physical location of the co-op is concerned, Colin technically houses the co-op in the foldable tent that he has given us or loaned us. So he's already involved. So we'll definitely connect with him. Nancy.
Okay.
Where have you done these co-ops?
We've done them in Ryan Park in South Norwalk, so a few blocks south of Washington Street.
You want to let me know next time you're doing them? I wasn't
Follow us
aware.
on Facebook, Judd.
Oh, and you know how much I'm on Facebook.
Second and fourth Sundays of every month, Judd.
Yeah, we've got the
At
rest
what
of the time.
time? At what time?
2 to 6.
Judd, you need to go on Facebook so you can resurrect the old boiler of the week post.
You're the only one who looked at that page, Colin.
Truly,
Sam-
if you're not on Facebook, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Kristen?
would like to also, I'm gonna come down too, and I would
Yeah.
be interested in maybe teaching anybody like a little lesson somewhere if there's a spot.
There are a lot of kids, Christine, that they like to watch. They don't always like to learn, but they like to watch. So
I did teach like a pretty direct lesson about how gears work and why bikes have gears to a 12-year-old girl yesterday. and
Okay,
it was really
I think we're getting a little off the topic.
sorry.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys. So we now have a whole 10 minutes left. So Ashley, if you would like to speak, we can, I think, have you empowered to speak. Mr. Norwalk Zoom 3, could you do that? Yep, you did that. Hi, Ashley, would you like to share some thoughts with us?
Hello and good evening, everybody.
Hi, Ashley. Good to see you again, or see you again.
Yeah, I can see you guys. Hi. This is all really new and interesting, and learn a lot of things. It's good to know that your involvement in the Oyster Fest, and I'm just really new to this, so not happy to be here. Happy to contribute, and I just started biking again, and I walk on Halloween. I used to live in downtown Sono, but I'm a little like 3 minutes away, but still. And I like the bike co-op effort, and I'm looking forward to learn more what the efforts that the commissions are doing.
Yeah, well, we generally meet the first Monday of every month, except next month, because the first Monday of the month is July 5th, which is when the city is celebrating Independence Day. In July, we will also be meeting the second Monday of the month. But other than that, we generally meet, well, in September, because the first Monday of the month is Labor Day, we meet the second Monday of the month. But other than that, we usually meet the first Monday of the month from 6 to 7:30. So you're welcome to stop in anytime.
Great. Looking forward to it.
If any of you are house hunting, Ashley's a realtor.
Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
Okay, and I just got a question and answer from Patricia, which I can read. It says, by way of clarification, I was here on behalf of the Milford Environmental Concerns Coalition, an environmental advocacy group. Our current project is to initiate more discussion and plan an event to engage the public on the issue of protected bike lanes. We're interested in safety for all ages and tourism potential in our ultimate connected bike path designs. Based on what I've heard this evening, I think it's fair to say that a collection of us would want to be you when we grow up. Well, I think I can speak for all of us that we don't exactly feel that we've gotten grown up yet either. P.S. We've kicked off our advocacy with a newspaper column on page 10 in the Milford Orange Times in May. The title was a misprint. It's supposed to say protected bike lanes, a low-tech high profit path to sustainable towns. And if I can, I will copy this out and share it. So thank you, Patricia, for joining us tonight, and you're certainly welcome to join us in the future as well. And at this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have one thing.
Okay, Sam.
I want to just go back since we have 7 minutes left. I don't think we should buy another repair stand because I think we can really expect Cannondale. I know we can expect Cannondale to buy between 4 and 5 of these units. And the pitch I gave them was specifically for these as part of an environmental and sustainable target of theirs. And I pretty much built the case for repairing bicycles to be a sustainable effort. So I can't convince them to spend the money on a bike rack or something instead. So I think purchasing additional bike racks or something with this year's budget would be better, because then we get to retain more of next year's budget for this kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know that I agree, because it's taken us entire year and we still haven't actually placed the 5 racks that we purchased last year. So I personally would rather go for the repair stand, but I'm certainly open to what everybody else feels.
So then I'll ask this so that we can add up. Nancy, is this something that you'd be comfortable being handled and decided offline, or does it need to happen within this meeting for the sake of?
I think it needs to be at this meeting.
Okay.
Well, why don't I move to take a vote on that? We hardly ever vote on anything. Go ahead, Colin.
I was going to say, when does the money need to be spent, Nancy? It's for July?
June 30th.
Oh, June 30th. So,
What if we?
I mean, technically we could have a special meeting. Is that correct, Nancy? We need to be,
Yep.
it would need to be out 2 weeks before, right? But then I guess we need to spend the money, or do we just need to commit to spend the money?
I believe we would need to have it ordered. So
If Cannondale is willing to buy these stations, we bought, I'm gonna call those crosswalk bollards before. How many of those did we buy?
I think 6, but I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, to me, those are a great portable thing that, and I know you kind of need someone to sponsor them, but they have a very limited lifespan too, because they get over. Could we reallocate the money for those?
We could reallocate it for anything, or we can just return it to the city.
I know, but
The only reason I bring it up is to maximize our fund usage. I'm not trying to.
yeah.
I'm not trying to make a case for one or the other. I'm just making a case for more money going towards things that we want.
I agree with you, Sam, and I, those
Yeah,
crosswalk.
What kind of parking were you thinking? I think you were talking about a corral, right?
Yeah, a corral or a paddock. I don't remember what they're called, but like similar to a protected bike lane, it's effectively a protected like Jersey barrier parking spot for bicycles.
It's like a fully contained unit that you drop into a 1-car parking spot.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's a big
Do you know the
purchase.
cost on that?
Dero makes one. I can look it up.
Do it quickly.
Yeah, let me just check really quick.
Nancy, can you confirm what we have left in the budget that expires?
Well, sort of yes and no. This may surprise you, but Delene does expect to get paid for taking our minutes.
That's fine with me.
So at least we'll have at least one more of her bills coming in, but let me see if I can quickly find what I'm looking for here. Okay, my Back of the envelope, probably about $2,500.
125. Oh, 2,500.
Yep. And the repair stand runs around 19
Is that with or without the pump?
with the pump.
17. Can we elect to have a special meeting on this?
Yes.
Again, I don't want to inject complication here. I just want to maximize our spending. Do I need to move for that, Nancy, or I don't?
Well, you can, yeah. In order to have a special meeting, we need to notice the agenda, and we can only discuss what's on the agenda. So if you can come up with, the proposal
Mhm.
with the dollar figures attached, we can call a special meeting, and if we have a quorum, we can go ahead.
Okay.
So that means we only need 4 of us. Is that correct?
Yep,
Okay.
Yeah, and what's the advance notice on the special meeting, the notice?
24
special-
hours.
Oh, it's only 24 hours. Okay, so that sounds like we could have it later this week, Sam, or early next week, depending on how long it takes you to get a quote out of Darrow.
Yeah. Or we're really tight with Sarah, so I can look at them too. But
Yep.
Can we plan for Thursday evening? Our usual meeting time was 6.
I can't make it, but Judd is the vice chair, so he could take care of it.
Judd, are you available at 6 on Thursday?
Hang on.
Yeah, hold on.
Thursday,
Or I guess we
Yeah.
we can even do next Monday. We don't have to rush it too much, right?
how about next Monday?
Next Monday at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do that.
So me, Sam, Judd, Colin.
I think Nancy might be able to make that one. Christine. can
No,
make-
wait a minute. This has to be a publicly noticed meeting.
Right,
Well, yeah. Well,
So
we
it's
would
not
publicly
just,
notice
it's
it.
not just us.
Yeah.
We
Well,
have
I'm
to go,
thinking-
we have to go through all the steps we went through for this meeting.
Of
Okay.
course. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to point out that if it's an inconvenient time for some of us, that's not a
Okay.
deal breaker because we only need 4 of us to show up.
So I'm fine with 6 p.m. on Monday if that works for at least 4. Obviously, the public needs to be notified. Getting more than 4 commissioners would be great.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that being the only topic. And, I think, generally if I had to go now, I think I'd be in favor of it, but it'd be good to have a cost associated with it, I think.
Well, it'll need to be lower than whatever funds we have in the bank.
Right, exactly.
But now, so are we talking the bike corral thing?
Yes.
Do we need to find out if we can legally put it in the city?
Yes,
first before we
Nancy, I'm gonna
purchase
have
it?
to, I'm gonna have to check with Jim on that and see what, it's not a guarantee. I'd have to check with him, and especially what location is gonna be picked for this is another thing as well. So I'll ask Jim as soon as possible, but I don't want to speak for anything and say, yes, you can just go ahead. Let me double check with him first and see if we have to do anything, especially if a specific parking spot hasn't been set yet.
and Mike Yosak, are you there still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Those crosswalk markers, what do they cost?
I think I think they were around $600, $700. And I know the school was looking for some more than we had, so
Each one of those is
yeah, they're pretty, yeah.
like, maybe I'm not talking about the same thing, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure offhand, Judd, but I know
Okay.
they're we got 6 last time, I think, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know how much, I don't remember what we spent. I think it was,
I'll come prepared to the meeting with a number of quotes for just different bicycle parking and or crosswalk infrastructural items.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking online right now. They're, 300 a piece or something like that. So, 350 each.
350,
Yeah.
okay, and shipping,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I think the bike parking thing is great, but as a backup plan,
I think the bike parking thing would need traffic authority approval to be on the street,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, maybe the parking authority too.
and parking authority possibly, yes.
So we may not have time to get that one fully
Yep.
vetted and through.
Well,
But-
strictly speaking,
Well-
in order to purchase it, we wouldn't need to have the approval to install it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would we purchase it and only to find out we can't install it?
Well, I think we would
That,
want
that
to-
doesn't seem to me like a good use of funds. It
Sure.
would seem to me to make more sense to purchase what we know we can install and use some of next year's funds for the bike corral once we've confirmed that we actually have a place to install it.
That makes sense to me.
Well, I mean, having confirmation that it's something that the city is on board with is one thing. Having an actual spot that's been signed off on, I think, is a different thing. I'm feeling like only the former would be a prerequisite to purchasing it.
Yeah.
All right,
But
how
let's
does this sound? Greg will find out from Jim whether this looks like it's a doable thing or not I think in a relatively short term, right?
Yes, yeah, I could find that
And-
out.
And if it's not a doable thing, would you be comfortable with ordering one fix-it stand and as many of the crosswalk things as we think we can afford?
That sounds good to me.
So we'll have a special meeting if in fact it looks like the bike corral thing is a real possibility. And if not, we'll skip the special meeting and we'll go ahead with the fix-it stand and a number of the pedestrian stanchions, and definitely look into the bike corral and talking to whomever else in the city we need to talk to, like the traffic authority and the parking authority, and looking into the next fiscal year doing the bike corral.
So for a Monday meeting, we would have to have the public notified no later than Friday, correct?
I think that's correct, because they're business days.
Right.
Well, actually, you probably you probably would need it to get it to me by Thursday so that I can get it posted on Friday.
Okay. It's not a ton of time for Greg, but Greg, does that sound plausible on your end?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, I'll speak with Jim tomorrow. I mean, I'm hopeful he'll have, he may have to find out some things as well and figure out, especially, Mike had said traffic authority and parking authority as well. So, but I will talk with Jim and Garrett tomorrow and see, and get their thoughts on it as well.
Great. Thanks so much, Greg.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Nancy?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know if I need to make a motion, but I'd like to hear what Jim Carter might have to say quickly about the NRVT.
Sorry, you can't because it's a special meeting and
oh,
we can't
right.
introduce anything that's not on the agenda.
All right, Jim. maybe-
So sorry, Jim. But in July, you can come back at a
will you
regular
be here
meeting.
In
Pardon?
July, Jim?
Pardon me?
I said you'll be here in July?
Me?
Oh, no, well,
Oh,
you
Jim.
too, I hope, but.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Okay. Anyway, I think we have exhausted our agenda here, so could I get a motion to adjourn?
Well, I'm sorry, before that, and Nancy, I just want to, this is your last meeting, yes?
Yes.
Well, we'd be, not ever. I don't even know how to say, words cannot even express like how to thank you for your service and dedication.
No,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Yes, and all the hours and meetings and all, and keeping us in line on these meetings.
Well,
keeping us-
trying to keep you in line.
Well, Yeah, we went
Anyway.
over a little bit tonight, but you do a great job of running the meetings along with these meetings, along with, I have no idea how many meetings during the week you go to for bike pedestrian things. So
Well, thank you.
big thank you from me too, and all of us, I'm sure. So,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I still need a motion to adjourn here. Thank you. Tanner, a second.
Second.
Colin. Well, thank you all, and I know you will continue to do the good work that you've been doing, and I'm not going away. I'll still be here. So I'm
Will we
willing
see-
to help out.
At a meeting now and then, maybe?
Maybe,
Okay,
probably not July though.
no, okay,
I would
All
hope
right,
not.
thanks everybody. Have a good evening.
all right, bye.
Everyone.